The margin for error at this level is minute. And we saw back and forth rounds putting Heroic actually on the back foot for quite some time. But they fought through. They brought the comeback right back to the verge here. And the end result being Michael making a little bit of a mistake there. But at the end of the day, Heroic were right on that verge of winning out the game.
Yep, absolutely. Bomb ever so important. So
yeah,
unfortunately, he learns that the hard way.
Yeah.
So
kind of sucks, doesn't it?
It's just another. I mean, to be fair, like they've gotten themselves a bit of a freebie round yesterday, so they've had awkward situations go. Exactly. Oh well, it happens. Unfortunately, Michael just kind of dust this one off, hopefully, is what they'll be able to do, and then just move over into Overpass. But unfortunately for them, I think that, again, before the break you asked, do I think Overpass is a place for them to fight? And I don't think that's the case. Heroic looks just so strong. Yeah,
they're really hard to handle on this map. There's a few maps where Heroic become tier 1 team beaters, right? Nuke is known for being one of them. It sits so well in their pocket, but this isn't far off being another one of those maps that's very, very easy for them to go to and be incredibly good at. Any other team in the world just bans half of these maps against them because you just don't want to play them on them because they just become so methodical, so clean. And your basic hits on this map can be quelled very easily. It's when a dynamic CT AWPer can have his own way. That could be Yugi. Or you get the double AWP out. Then it becomes even tougher. Heroic know they're walking into their own domain now.
And I think there's also an argument to be made about, I mean, remember the simplicity of the way Red Reserve were playing, right? They're not getting complex. They're staying pretty straightforward with their executions, or at least so far. Maybe they're going to bring something new into this map, but one of the things that I think Heroic will be able to exploit is that Overpass is just naturally more complicated. You can do some really interesting stuff with timings. I mean, I remember that one flubbed smoke grenade that Maudie tried in his 1v2 clutch. Just the verticality of Overpass as a map, right? Smokes from A to B, from B to A, from feet to table.
Can we appreciate how clean his white socks are? If ever I wear white socks with like my shoes and it's, you know, it's a hot country and you need to walk around, you got your shoes off, they're filthy. Michael, clean as a whistle.
Life of a gamer. I can't help but feel like those are not the feet of a man doing physical labor.
Maybe just not going on hikes, you know, he's just chilling out, you know what I mean? It's quite warm out there. We're sitting inside, it's fine. Like, oh, I was hoping that little high five wasn't going to be met. It's honestly one of my new happy things is watching people miss out when someone wants a high five or a fist bump. But yeah, let's get into Overpass because I want to see how this unravels between these two. I can imagine the knife round has probably started up and they're going to decide which side they start on. But generally, overall, you've got to feel this sits quite comfortably in the pocket of Heroic. But there could be a swing factor. We could, again, see one of the players from Red Reserve doing just unbelievable sorts of performance. And it seems to be a possibility. Again, though, Heroic very, very well-rounded on this map. So they know they've got depth. We saw it in the last round. They didn't get flustered. They didn't worry. They called that timeout. On Train, they came back stronger. Bearing in mind, if Heroic win this, they'll be going through the grand finals to play NIP. This is the semi-finals here. And Red Reserve, they need this to even get a chance on that third map.
And again, bringing up the individual play that Red Reserve have to offer. That was one of the big questions coming into this weekend was, were they going to be able to actually compete on an international stage like this? And I think we have our answer, yes. They've had some really cool individual performances, some pretty solid stuff. But now, again, you have to add in that variable of Overpass, where clearly Heroic are just in their comfort zone, and where Heroic have already proved themselves to be that level above and beyond. I mean, you mentioned, of course, how great they are on Nuke, how they are just kind of obviously a top contender, a great upset potential. Even notable names saying they're just straight up the best Nuke team in the world.
Certainly hold that title for a little while. Whether or not that still sticks, I'm sure we'll find out soon as someone ever plays them on it. But the problem is that everyone vetoes it. So it's like, it's all good and well to have that really strong, one really good map, but everyone just goes, yeah, well, that's my ban, isn't it? It always helps if you're playing a team who just has like a permanent veto, but still.
As long as they keep vetoing Nuke against Heroic, they will remain the best Nuke team. Because it's just, you know, they're just living off their reputation at this point.
Do you know what's good? What's better than one fetish? Two. What? Did you see two fetishes going on?
Oh, I see now.
Yeah, you
okay,
get it?
Yeah,
there we go.
A little slow.
All right, Heroic up against Red Reserve. It's map 2 here in the semi-finals. And the DreamHack ASTRO Open. Obviously, the Valencia crowd is just waiting to see what happens between these two. Who will be facing off against NIP in those finals? Will it be a all-Swedish affair, or will it change around? Already off to a quick start. It seems Heroic have a plan in mind, and they want to get it done. Hampus going to back away. Rusty with him. Good flash comes in, forcing these guys further back. And the bomb plant will be there, but a fast retake will be building up, and Yugi spots them both out by Graffiti.
Yeah, they're just going to hide back here. They immediately heard that push, and they wanted nothing to do with the fight. They wanted to stay alive so that the rest of Red Reserve could come in for the retake, but already Madi able to drop Michaelelli off of connector door. Here comes Rusty on a push. Nico takes him down, but it's traded yet again. Back from EC Tag, man advantage to the T side. Heroic hold this bomb for as long as they can, but Freddy Frog in the corner. He's not going to be able to get stubbed out. Hampus just has to cover. He needs to hit the headshot, and he will. 2 seconds, and he's on it. Yes, Freddy Frog manages the defuse as Hampus lays down the law.
How the hell did they get away with that? With Aztec in such a good spot then to basically deny half of the retake? Very surprised they got away with it, but a great position, good defuse. Nice faith in your teammate as well. A 10-second defuse isn't fun. You're sat there like, I'm going to die. There's no two ways about it. But it's Hampus, and this guy, for an in-game leader, he's showing he's got some real power to him. Good to see Swedish teams finding this kind of young potential coming back through after the Danes started to strip it away from them all. But the buy-up comes in from Heroic. Gonna force in on this one. Feeling as it was so close, why not? The Julie's coming out for Estag. That's just not fair, is it? Hampus, how did you find the homing nades? Where did they come from? Where'd you buy those?
Extra $200.
Exactly. I'm always very poor at this point, so never been able to afford it. But the execute comes in. Oh, God. How much can go wrong here for Heroic before they've even tried? Rusty as well can be played in so nicely to this.
And he does. He takes one down. Madi's able to trade it, but here comes Hampus. Just mowing him down. Leaving only Nico with a smidgen of health and at least 2 flashbangs. But where's that going to get you? Nowhere at this point. You've got a minute to play with, so he's just banking on the fact that maybe somebody from Red Reserve gets hyper-aggressive. Of course, there's still that frag grenade on Relaxa, and having seen what already unfolded in this round, I expect that to kill him.
Michaelelli starting to go walkabouts. Closest by here, and Nico might just get a bullet to the back of the brain. There it is. Michaelelli keeps this one relatively clean. And you've got to feel a little for Heroic then. Everything went wrong before they even made a good shot of it. But this guy, he is really impressing. This was the first round, of course, this being the pistol. The defuse happening the entire time. Has to land these shots. Keeps composure. Never quite losing posture towards this. And, of course, this round will be a complete clean eco from Heroic. No chance of much happening here.
The old vanilla pistol. Gonna get softened up thanks to the frag grenade and the fadeaway as well. Second frag goes in, and Nico goes out. Freddy Frog's gonna take him. Relaxa. He's gonna get a couple kills as well, so just making very quick work as expected. Yugi, 30 HP. Still just the Glock. This one's over.
Michaelelli gonna find it. Good money being built here for Red Reserve. First 3 rounds, good kills. Clean in the last 2. Gets him into a decent spot. However, when this gun round comes in, the first real test is gonna be formed. No AWP coming up for Heroic yet, but plenty to play with. And on the other side, they're going for that cheekiness of holding back a little bit on the gun upgrades. A couple of UMP still there, very, very viable. And Relaxa gonna go for the peek hit. Oof. Seemed so close yet didn't connect.
This affords some space to Heroic with Nico leading the charge. Smoke grenade here plumed by the CTs again. That's so frustrating. How many times have they either lost a player or half of their health without even spotting a target? There's nothing you can do about that.
There's always Hampus doing it as well.
Yeah, another reason I love Overpass is just a map. Again, verticality, rotation, all important. So many wall bangs, so many boosts. Very unique. Very exploitable.
You can see the Red Reserve don't want to back away from this. They're trying to stay around as long as they can, and they've held their ground. Relax is really not backing away. He's holding this. He will find Nico. Bit of a problem now forms as the game plan's been seen. It's been spotted. Red Reserve have 3 players on this site. And Michael falls back to keep control of Long. Playing from that APC, he can jump peek it and keep tabs on. 2 players there.
Here comes the utility and the execution, but that fire is going to hinder it ever so slightly. Freddy Frog reveals himself, drops the bomb as well. Relaxa with 1, and while Isitag's able to fight back into this, it's Freddy to respond yet again. Almost finding the last frag, but it's Yugi taking 2. Now, he does still have 15 seconds here, and he's got another frag, so all of a sudden, oh, he could have had the chance had they lined up, but it's just not made to be. That is Red Reserve with a fantastic start. Now 4-0 the score.
There are no easy games here. No one gets away with it. Even this is a good map for Heroic, you know you're going to be put to challenge. You can see how relentlessly these guys chase this aggression. They don't want to give up this control of bathrooms. They believe in each other's crossfire. They're holding it for a hell of a long time. And again, it's Relaxer, it's Freddy. These 2 are becoming a bit of a mainstay throughout this game. Looking very, very talented. I think Relaxer just spotted one on his way out. So again, call gets made, flash goes up, Freddy prepares himself. Here comes a play, but Relaxer is there. And having people who are related to each other only seems to make this duo even stronger holding this position. You normally need such great coordination. You need great timings and good understanding of how your other teammate likes to play the area so you can support them perfectly. And being twins clearly seems to help.
Yeah.
It's OP.
Damn telepathy. So solid is that hold. Yet again, over and over, Red Reserve with convincing rounds at this point. Of course, we've got Yugi on the op, so now Heroic with another fighting chance in this one. Freddy Frog fully blind. That's not going to push him back. Instead, he goes forward. And that's where he will fumble. That's where he will fall. Nico takes the opening and finds the 5v4, but he also finds himself sitting on 9 points of health, so he has to retreat backwards, extra cautious. Michael continues to turn up the heat towards long A. We have Relaxa showing presence with the op, so despite being in a 4 versus 5, Red Reserve still trying to take these initiatives, and it's going to cost them yet again. Isitag finds the headshot and this 5v3.
Heroic needs to start exerting themselves a little bit more in the early rounds. They are being challenged early. Red Reserve are not playing a laid-back, humble game. You know, they're not biting into that. They're not reading that storyline. If Heroic don't kind of quieten them down a little bit and kind of slow them away from this very quick burn they're on, Heroic will never have a chance to make the executor they're known for. They need to get rid of this. They need to beat it out of them. And now it could be time to go, but Rusty is right there, and he's got support. He's got Michael with him too, so as soon as he sees these steps... Oh, he misses the shot! Not ideal. Michael unable to swing on it either. Modi gets into this. It's Relaxer now in a 1v5. How is he still alive? Surprising, and... All right, Modi, we're going to ignore that final shot, but the first 2 were good. So, 5 alive, they get the bomb down, and everything else, they're fine. That's a good round for Heroic.
Yeah, considering the amount of initiatives there that Red Reserve took, you almost expected them to come up with at least 1 kill. I mean, they push into Party, they push into Long A, they re-peek on Party, they push into Connector. It was all just there for Red Reserve, and yet all of those duels go the way of Heroic, even though 3 of their players are left on like sub 20 HP. That's all that matters. Heroic get the clean round on the board, and it kickstarts this T side.
So this is a bit more of a default look here. Again, though, Modi takes so much damage from... I can imagine his Hampus again. This guy's... He's got the wallbangs down. He's put work into this. And Modi's getting absolutely battered from it. But still, he needs to hold this. He doesn't necessarily have to hold this area as such. He could be over by the Spindle, over by Monster. But it basically will eventually, with the intention that Heroic have, force these guys back. And that's what's happening. There's underpass control for Heroic. That limits any rotations or aggressions for Red Reserve. They can't get anywhere without giving a hell of a lot up, but they're going to try for a little bit more aggression on long. It's a little bit more reserved. Freddy and Relaxer turning attention elsewhere.
Heroic have all the map control they could ask for, barring this extension to long A. And it's there that Isisag starts to creep in. But of course, we have Relaxa towards that A bomb site, posted up with the op. And then he's got Freddy Frog just tucked away in the corner, so a bit of a 2-man attack. Brothers in arms. Michael finds the opening kill, though. Relax's shot goes astray, so still this 5v4. Here comes Freddy, revealing himself from the corner, but he gets pummeled out. And now all of a sudden it's up to Relaxa alone on site. He's asking for reinforcements, but they haven't arrived just yet. Michaelelli still towards truck side. His shot goes again to the side, and he's able to double down with the next one. But Snappy trading to the man advantage as the bomb now attempts to plant. Hampus jumps out in the open, and he's able to find one frag, but Snappy quells the threat. And Rusty's all that remains.
He needs the first fight. Tag towards Nico, he knows it as well. You need a 1v1 to win this. If there's two alive, it's near on impossible. And they're actually going to be right next to each other. Rusty can still do this. He has a kit, but does he have the time? He finds the first kill, and it's on Snappy. 3 already for him. And Rusty is looking for this. He's hunting it out. He knows he's got to be close, but he checks the wrong angle, and Snappy locks it out. The in-game leader takes charge for Heroic.
There we go. Again, a situation where they're able to dodge the reset. We saw, of course, towards the end of that second half on Train, Heroic really having to struggle their way back into it. And luckily for them, they've done it earlier on. Sure enough, Red Reserve, 5-point start, but all of that momentum, all of that economic prowess has come to an end. It is Heroic now with a very real chance to close this gap. Unless the force buy from Red Reserve pays off. The op for Relaxa, M4 on Freddy, and 3 pistoleros.
Different approach from Red Reserve. You can see them fighting for this now. That molly is going to isolate the players in towards Underpass. If Estag wins that fight, they're in a good position. Nico needs to check this. Doesn't have the awareness to do so. He comes a little late to that. Freddy was born ready for that. That's what he was playing for. Now Hampus has a feeling he's going to see where the molly comes from, not Molly. And that's going to force him away a little bit here. This is good stuff from Red Reserve. You can see they've split up the T side. They can't now make it easily through this. They're going to retain control of Underpass.
I mean, I like this. Hampus has all the utility, and then again, that one M4 for Freddy. So Hampus is just ensuring Freddy can do as he pleases. Peek to the top side, peek into the lower. Now they're going to double down. It's EC Tag with the first one, but Hampus finds the trade and the M4 back in his hands. Despite 22 health, he's still in a fighting stance. As Heroic take a stand towards the A site. Yugi looking to crack this defense open, but Relaxa just keeps jump peeking on the bathrooms, not really revealing himself towards long. He's wary of this exact kind of setup from Heroic, but now we need Maudie to join forces on the T side. Relaxa fully blinded. Snappy rips his head clean off, and so it's the single M4 for Hampus, double CZ, and a bomb plant for Heroic, as now already Maudie deals with the flank and takes the man advantage.
That could have been different. If Maudie had tried to pull up towards toilets and kind of left the flank open, that could have been different, but no. It is what it is now. The CZs need to come to life, and Snappy sticking around for a long time here, making a rifle available. Didn't back from sight. Now Maudie and Yugi need to be very aware of this. No utility, so they have to take clean fights here. Rusty and Michaelelli looking for them. No one showing. And with no kit, it's time to save. Get out of there, keep those guns. Not bad at all for Red Reserve. And again, Hampus, I'm thoroughly impressed with how he plays. He's tough to handle. He puts himself in really uncomfortable positions.
Unfortunately for Red Reserve, of course, they force spotted that last round, so their money not in a stable state.
Well, they can get a couple of those pistols thrown around, but you don't want to buy too low at this point. Banking a lot on Rusty and Michaelelli finding work here. Stacked towards long as well. This could catch him off guard. We haven't really seen this too much from Red Reserve, but Yugi is watching it anyway, but we'll see if he gets caught by a flash put into play. It is with Rusty, so he could be the one to set up the piece.
Heroic not getting too over-aggressive. They are just taking over towards bathroom side. Nico wary of a man to come up from connector, but Michaelelli has been forced back, so he's not looking to take a super aggressive fight, just wants to keep that op in hand. It could be ever so valuable, especially with the stack up still towards long. If those players can grab a couple of kills, then his op on site could be enough to seal the deal.
But Hampus is seeing a lot of this, or the less he sees, the more worrying this gets. But as soon as he will see footsteps or hear something, he should be able to make the call. But at the moment, Heroic's actually working around him. They haven't shown, which is pretty important to this sort of round. If he'd seen players coming through connector or working their way up short, he'd have called for reinforcements. Not the case. Players on the site now. You can already hear the calls being made. You can see the flanks coming out from Relaxer, but they're going to wait for each other for the retake. Snappy waiting for someone to get short control. Molly goes in. And here we go. They should be able to hold on to this. They shouldn't lose out on this round. But Hampus and Michael strike, and that looks rather deadly already.
Yeah, that's a man advantage really to play with, but there's 2 frags back for Heroic, so they steal it. And Nico finds another. Relaxa down for the count. Freddy Frog on the AK. 1v3. Snappy looking to get a little aggressive here, and that's going to cost him his head. Freddy Frog just going to put the op on his back and head out to the A site towards safety, where Red Reserve will have to forfeit another round, giving Heroic 4, cutting down their lead to a single point, putting the outcome of this first half back in question.
Heroic starting to stabilize a bit here, but you can see there's so much threat on board with Red Reserve. I'm thoroughly impressed with Hampus and how he's kind of putting his players into place, and the firepower between the 2 brothers is just outstanding. But 5 to 4, should I say. Mine's starting to sit far better with Heroic. And a bit of a fine line for Red Reserve to walk on, as we do see again. The default comes out. I wonder what the answer will eventually be for Red Reserve. If they keep losing out like this, how do they intend to get back into it? We saw bits of aggression here and there, and this is maybe how. Hampus. He's pushed up incredibly far, and he's got Rusty with him. Oh my word, what is this sort of play? Molly's baffled by it, but it works out. How many people often push Monster like that?
To just creep on the other side of a smoke? Not many, but it works. So why not? Now, talking of side by side, Red Reserve also with 2 players towards the bathrooms. And Heroic, having cleared out the bottom of connector, are starting to head out towards A, or at least back towards party. Again, so many options open. If they just double back towards T-spawn, sure enough, they're going to have to clear it out towards Monster. They don't know where exactly those CT players went, but they know they have connectors, so they're going to be able to pinch into short water if need be. They could try to creep back through Monster themselves, as seen earlier, versus those 3 pistols. Unfortunately for Heroic, by the time they arrive, it's already been smoked off once more, so this is going to curb their decision-making. But they have so much utility. I'd love to see them go into this bomb site with proper nade usage. Smoke out heaven, Molotov the side of barrels. Really execute as opposed to just dry walk, but that's what they're going to try here. Rusty to the barrel side. He tries to line up 2. Yugi gets the best of him with the headshot off the op. Hampus finds the trade and a man advantage for Red Reserve, but time ticking quickly. 7 seconds on the clock. Hampus doesn't spray, so the bomb plant goes down. He still takes 2, and it's all on Easy Tag.
Incredible play so far from Hampus, and again he closes this down. What an in-game leader this guy is. Individual power aplenty. And he is keeping his team in this one with a lead. He is not letting Heroic get away with this. Brilliant performance. I don't know how he's allowed to that position, to be fair, with no one able to spot him.
I mean, in that situation, I thought to myself, like, oh, just maybe try to stop the bomb planter and kind of obscure the round in that manner. But I almost like that he ensures, of course, he knows that one player is inside smoke. There's no doubt in his mind. And that he prioritizes the fight to the man to the back of pillar. So he still had players up. It's not as though the retake was impossible. It's not as though he had to stop it. So as opposed to trying to spray and, you know, adding a bit of a variable of luck, keeps it cool, calm, and collected. I'll admit, I doubted Red Reserve on overpass. That's verbal in my support for Heroic, but they're doing a much better job of Heroic's previous opponents of at least making them work for this. I mean, 4-6 a score, it's not too lopsided. No one's really running away with the half. But that's exactly what Red Reserve wanted, a close game, at the very least.
Ooh, Relaxer forced off it now. Smokes back towards long. I have to say, for me, personally, it has been 3 players. Michael and Rusty have been pretty quiet in this game so far, in this map. And there goes Rusty. Hampus, though, the man who you cannot get past. Look at this! Oof, almost 3 kills. Almost believed. It's Aztag to fight back, but Yugi now feels very alone. The bomb's found success on B. He's holding together the flank here, and Michael spots it out. He knows what they're up to, but how did Yugi die there? Somehow Relaxer found him. Bomb goes in. Nico needs to be careful of every angle. Re-smokes it for his teammate. High flash comes in, turns, and he doesn't make it out alive. Freddy, too aware, too quick. It's a 1v3.
This will take a very big play from Nico, considering his health. He is fully flashed. Has no clue what comes his way, and Michael Ellie with a casual jumping USP. Why not? Why not?
How'd you get past Hampus? He's still providing so much. Rusty gets pushed over. Hampus finds 2 kills. I also don't know how Yugi died there, because he had the angle, so I don't know if he just tried to walk through and just got, you know, poorly timed on his behalf, but yeah, all began on that. Now 7-4. This is a big turnaround. This could, if they close out the rest of the rounds, this could really open up map 3, and that's where it all becomes who knows.
Yep.
You know, what sort of outcome we'll be expecting going into that grand final.
And they talked about it on the desk. It was really Train that Red Reserve had been hoping for so that they could get to Mirage. They could get to that more common ground. They're able to upset Heroic on their own map pick, then who knows what's in store. Regardless of the future, seems like Heroic want the B bomb site yet again. But this has been Hampus's kingdom. Right now, it's Rusty to the barrel side. Everybody here, for the most part, trying to filter through. Madi finding that opening frag. Michael gets aggressive and he gets punished from short, so Freddy inside water, the next to fall. Relaxa with 1, but Hampus with 2. And while the bomb plant comes through, that's all they're gonna get for now. Nico on the site, tagged to 15 health. He's got the tech, but now he's dead, and another round for Reserve.
I haven't seen an individual doing this much in a long time.
The crazy part is that's exactly it. It's individual, right? We talk about Red Reserve and how, you know, Pimp was saying he was discussing the map pool with Hampus and how Overpass is not a map that Red Reserve went over as a unit. But to me, this is just a map that clearly Hampus is comfortable playing, especially towards this B site. We haven't really seen all too much of a presence at A, but every time they attempt to get into B, it is Hampus across that kill feed. So Red Reserve relying on him, not only as an in-game leader, but as the top fragger at this moment, and Heroic are just left scratching their heads.
He's 19-6 in a semi-final against Heroic. Nicely done. And now Freddy put up to the challenge. Good spray on the first, gets overwhelmed by the second, but Relaxer is right there. Again, pick your poison. Hampus or the 2 on the other side. Relaxer now looks for the final man. It is Nico, it is a Deagle, but right now it doesn't seem to matter much, as Red Reserve will not be moved. They will not give an inch. Nico again gets tagged down to 60.
Sure enough, Hampus on the rotation comes up. 20-6. Incredible performance from him so far. Incredible performance from Red Reserve in general. Those 4 rounds from Heroic isolated to the center chunk of this half. Red Reserve with a very real chance at closing this out with double digits. Oof.
Freddy taking the molly to the head. Let's run back out of this one. No one pressuring from party yet, as Modi wants to try and get on the action, probing towards that B side, but Relax already going to find Snappy. The nade lands on Modi's chest, and there's Hampus. So, you know, I've very rarely seen an individual make so much of a difference in a game like this.
And here's the thing, is that last time when we watched Heroic successfully play Overpass, it was because Modi himself was really prying into that B bomb site with the aggressive lurk style. But every time he tries to do that, he's being met by Hampus, who clearly comes out on top. I mean, Modi's still top fragging, don't get me wrong, but not nearly to this level of success that we've seen previous. So Heroic, again, just left asking questions at this point. They're down to the 3v5, their utility's starting to dwindle, and they're left with very little control of this map. They've got nobody over towards that B site. Red Reserve do not feel the need to get aggressive in a 5v3. especially considering the health. Michaelelli spotting targets, so the rotation could come upwards, or they just lie in wait. Very confident is the defense here of Red Reserve.
Yeah, and you can see why Freddy landing shots. The Shadow gives it away, and Estag now gets shut down. 5 rounds would be a bit of, I guess, respite for Heroic more than anything. 4 is all they're stuck with. And Red Reserve are running them ragged at the moment. Good money now with them as well on the Swedish side. Estag can buy up. They're still in an okay position, but a Galil there with Yugi, a UMP with Snappy. It's not the ideal purchase. It's far from it. You've still got a lot of lacking utility. Where do you take yourself? How do you plan to get back into this game? Because Heroic seem flat in this now. They seem like they've run out of ideas and options.
Oh, Relaxa's gonna get hyper-aggressive over towards Long A. He sprays for 2 before Nico's gonna trade it back, but Freddy Frog chimes in with a kill of his own. Double man advantage for Red Reserve, and a massive round advantage as well. Looking for their 11th here.
Wouldn't put it past him. Snappy and Moddy watching this possible 2-0 slipping away from them. They'd have to have a blistering CT side. It just seems like the firepower, the raw ability is more than in place. Snappy looking for an opportunity that's simply not looking like it wants to present itself. He does find one. Michael goes down. Freddy instantly there, though. Back again. Snappy, no. Fancies another option. And finally, someone beats the raid boss, Hampus. That's the only player so far who's got past him. Back we go. Snappy switches it up. He's going to give it another crack towards that A side.
Of course, Freddy Frog is here. He's going to just tuck himself into the corner. Snappy's going to round it. Instantly fragged. Red Reserve with 11 rounds on the CT side of this map. The choice of their opponents. Not just their choice, but a very comfortable map pick at that. I would have never seen this coming. I mean, if anything, sure enough, maybe they put up a good fight. They showed some signs of life on train as well. They showed the ability to kind of come back. I mean, they stole away the lead at one point, but Heroic are going to need a near-perfect CT side if they want to close this 2-0.
This is just scary level from Red Reserve. Maybe just getting a fire lit underneath them after the first map, feeling robbed of it. And bearing in mind, they got their chance to come to this semi-final off the back of someone making a terrible mistake, and they don't want to do that to themselves. They want to ensure they can take this as far as possible, but it was a very close first map. And if you'd seen that scoreline and not known which team was on what side, an Overpass, you'd have put that 11 rounds right into the bag of Heroic, but that is not the case at all. This is Red Reserve giving us a real game. Finally, a matchup. As this is the semi-finals, of course, you can expect nothing less. Seconds away now from getting the second half started. And Heroic, you have to be perfect, and you know it as well. 4 rounds to spare is simply not enough for you. But it's all you're going to be given. You need to get this pistol. No two ways about it.
Looks like they're going to get aggressive towards Fountain already. Heroic with a 4-man stack. Speaking of 4-man stacks, Red Reserve just start barreling into that B site. Snappy to the heavens. Trying to spot this out, but it's Relaxa. Remove. Trying to watch flank. Snappy with a headshot as well, so this is a great little pistol start for Heroic. Again, that pistol so important, especially after that score. But the bomb plant, regardless, has been found.
Those 2 kills make this retake possible. They don't have a kit, though, on Heroic. They played a retake with 5 players with armor, so need to be quite quick on this, need to be quite smart on the way they approach it. Freddy's going to be trying to buy time, but there comes the pinch from Yugi. It's Hampus and it's Rusty to try and play this back out. No one's looking at him! He explodes on the site, and now Snappy takes down Rusty. It's just Hampus, but he's buying time. Here come the bodyguards. Yugi takes him down in the end, and the defuse will come through, but far too close for comfort.
At least the pistol to start here for Heroic. And I mean, they needed it. They know it. If we see Red Reserve pick that up and run with momentum, the conversion points put them just on the doorstep of victory. Big round for Heroic. Big opportunity to still make this map happen. But it is no doubt an uphill battle ahead.
Red Reserve have in store for us now. A couple of Deagles, P250 and Glocks. Not a great deal. Hampus there looking to punish him on going for the information jump. No one is. At least not yet. I think there's a boost on B. Snappy being involved in that. There's Yugi and Nico posted up over by A. Actually, tell a lie, there is no boost. It's just Snappy on his own. He's soloing B right now, pretty much.
I mean, Hampus could do it.
Yep.
Nice shot from Yugi. It's the head of Freddy Frog, but speaking of Hampus, he's able to find Easy Tag. Back to the 4v4.
They're still pretty committed towards long here. Be hard for them to disengage, but Michael finds Yugi, and now they have the player advantage. Nico, can you save your team from this rather dire round that's been happening so far? Down to 38 seconds. Time is a factor, but yeah, it's going to be that B hit, and Moddy's already feeling that one out, I think, as well. He's going to have to be the first one to rotate, but there's a man on the site. Snappy. Let's see what happens here. Hampus there, you can see him calling out what the game plan is. 20 seconds now. It's going to be now or never, and it is going to be right about now. Here comes the hit. The flash comes in. Snappy wins out one fight. He turns on the second, but Moddy on the quick rotate keeps this round safe. But what a threat was put to bear by Red Reserve. It should never have been this close, and Michael going to still try and make it even worse for Heroic, but they do retain 3, but a scary round indeed.
Yeah, certainly. It all comes down to that last gunfight on the bomb site. Oof. Michael with a convincing dig. But here's a convincing buy from both sides. Red Reserve on the AKs. Not all the grenades in the world, but this could just kind of force their hand into a more rapid play. Need to making the most of the grenades they do hang on to. Frag goes out. Not that it will deal additional damage. Snappy gets aggressive towards short. He is able to trade it back on Hampus, who did remove EC tag. Moddy, meanwhile, finding a frag as well through the smoke. So, man advantage despite the health low.
It is going to be hard, however, for Red Reserve to disengage from this purely because they have no step elsewhere on the map. They have no presence towards underpass, nothing towards toilets, nothing towards fountain. So eventually they're still going to commit to this. And Heroic haven't pushed up that much, so they don't know this yet. But they're going to get a rather loud reminder as Relax is already in there. One player still by sight, and Freddy's going to check on this one. He does indeed get the kill. And Heroic, even though they had no information, just being a little lackadaisical about where maybe Red Reserve were going to be. Yugi and Nico having to play retake here. They simply cannot afford these rounds going not their way.
It's a high flash in the eyes of Yugi. He's convinced to fall further back. Molotov towards site to force the feet. But instead, he's able to stand. Relaxa with another frag. Rusty burning. Rusty murdering. The head of Yugi gets ripped off. So, another one on the board for Red Reserve. They're able to double the score of Heroic yet again. And now they're going to be able to assert themselves with the AKs and the grenades as well. Heroic buying what they can. Patching together their purchase. Very light utility, very light weaponry at that. Dire straits ahead for Heroic.
Moddy a second away from being absolutely obliterated by those nades, but stays alive for now. He does have Yugi with him as well, so trying to make a bit of a crossfire happen here. They have the support watching up by Party, so they will be able to back away from this if it all goes wrong. But Michael is going to be there, but only finds one, so at the end of the day, a good trade for Heroic finally, but still, they need more than just this. Snappy could be the next big hit. That's great. Finding Hampus removes the vast majority of the threat. You're down to Rusty and Freddy. You need to play into one of these sites. They could still do it, but options look a little more limited.
Silver lining for Red Reserve is 2 players still just sit on pistols. Unfortunately for the Reserve, they are incredibly split. So Rusty's just going to start to pry into the A site. He's actually been afforded a lot of real estate here. That Molotov's going to force 2 players out. And if they fall into his crosshair, he could take them. Does find one. And that bomb trying to get towards B in the meantime. Freddy Frog kicking this to overdrive, just sprinting his way in. Now, Snappy was in short, but because of the presence on long, Freddy's been afforded some space to play with. Smoke and flash. Smoke could go to heaven or even on short. He's going to try to plant and cover. Here comes Snappy. Snappy will stop it in its tracks. Heroic onto 7, denying another round for Red Reserve, but it is still that hard reset in the second half. Unfortunate for Red Reserve. At least they have the lead.
That pinch towards underpass was great, but it was, for me, the kill from Snappy that stopped Hampus being able to cause mayhem. And it has taken some of the money away from Red Reserve, so again, they've got to be a little careful. They don't want to let everything fall away from them here, so nade comes in from Yugi. Doesn't find any target, but a slower round from Red Reserve. You can see them being a little bit more passive about this. Trying to play for that underpass control, which was already kind of highlighted to be something that Heroic will, occasionally fight for, but you can see it get into the heads of Red Reserve a little bit. They have to use their utility to clear this and slowly but surely work their way through.
It's only really Relaxa who's a threat in this one, at least for the time being. All that utility could be played around him, set him up into a great spot.
Still plenty of time to work their way into this one. With all that utility, you can still hit sites pretty late because you can clear additional corners with those mollies. You could do the Astralis style play towards B. Use your mollies and your smokes to do so. Bring those Tech 9s and P250s to range where they can work really well. You can see Hampus kind of setting this up. It does look like it's going to be an explosive B hit. So eyes towards Snappy. Keep your eyes on Estad because here comes the hit. They better be ready for what's coming their way.
Flashbang, smokes, and fire. Frags aplenty as well. Snappy guns down 1 with that ump. He is traded out. Michaelelli with the AK and the bomb site in his control. That bomb's starting to be planted now as Hampus gets aggressive, wants to find a further fight. They could even boost to heaven. But unfortunately for Rusty, he is pinned down and the CT's ever so close. So while Hampus holds the position, it's not going to work out. Rusty instead lies in wait. Here comes the CT side. Damage dealt. Spray connects for 1, but Michaelelli needs the clutch, and he's not going to find it. Nico with another frag and an 8th round on the board for Heroic.
It is just working for Heroic, and I mean by the smallest of margins, and Michaelelli knows it. They're getting so close to cracking open this T side, but it is a slow grind back here. And I feel if maybe Rusty did a bit more damage, it all became very, very viable at small moments in time. The money's being kept very, very quiet as well for Heroic. They're unable to build banks. These rounds are so very close to each other. However, Red Reserve suffering themselves here. Gonna forgo a little bit of a purchase this round just so they can get a better weapon set in the upcoming. No rush on them to get into this, bearing in mind. They're still ahead by a fairly decent margin, 12-8. Heroic going aggressive though. Hampus gonna find the pointy end of the stick there. As Rusty, Michaelelli, Relaxa, and Freddy are left with the task at hand. 2 players working their way up long as well for the CT side. Nico and Yugi about to be swung on by these pistols. Nico's up to task. Gonna find Michaelelli. Did they see, or maybe they expect Freddy to be here? Flash comes in. Good coordination between each other.
And that's really what we saw from Heroic previously on Overpass. Lots of little team plays like that. Proper grenade usage, proper peeking, minimizing risks, and maximizing rewards. Smoddy finds another headshot, leaves it just down to Relaxa. Sure, he's got a bomb, sure, he's got a smoke, but he has no chance in hell of winning this round. If he's lucky, he finds a frag or 2. Okay, 9-12. I only get excited about these when it's like 12-12. I'm not believing that Heroic can turn around just yet. They're doing good. They are doing good. But you see how close these rounds have gone down to? Not having full faith yet. They're starting to build up a little bit of money at least because they had that round to get a bit of a buffer. It's not perfect, however, but a big investment now comes out from Red Reserve. Yet to get the AWP up either, which is a bit of a shame for them in these kind of more, I guess, poignant rounds, right? It's not quite been there yet. Nico, so aggressive. He doesn't have support there with him. Yugi's having to back right round to this. Maybe a miscommunication there because it looked like Yugi wanted to go towards underpass, but he's got to back away from this together. A little bit scary
within those seconds as Snappy gets flashed in towards short, sees nothing, as this is a lean towards the A side.
While Nico falls off of the party, he is still going to stay somewhat forward, trying to pry to the top of the smoke.
Well, Red Reserve have claimed some territory back here. Playing towards underpass is good, but you can see the intention from Heroic. Play outside of B. I don't mind it at all. It's an early warning system. It buys you time for a rotate, but you also have to make it count. Between Astag and Snappy, it's dangerous, but it does look like an A hit's going to be coming through. Nico and Yugi waiting this out. Nico is the first port of call. He needs to land this shot. No, Michael denies it. And here comes the hit. Bomb goes down, but it's all been seen. The flash is good. It plays Yugi in well, but he can't get a third. Damage does get dealt towards Rusty, but now Modi prepares himself for what's coming his way.
He's able to find one more, nearly nets the next, but it's Michael with another headshot. Easy tag on the flank. 2v2 turned 1v2. Easy tag all that's left, and he sprays for the round. Heroic to double digits, and only too short of tying this game up. Back and forth were all of those situations, and Heroic come out on top.
This is starting to feel like a real semi-final here. This is starting to live up to what you expect coming out of this tournament, but there's tag on the flank. They just didn't expect it that quick. Simple as that. Not that fast, not in that timing. And now money starts to build better for Heroic. It's still close, though. As said, even with that many players dying, they don't build up that massive economy. It's still on a bit of a knife's edge. But on the other side, Red Reserve, of course, unable to really convert some of these rounds into the wins that they desperately need. We see the build continue, but danger still aplenty. Some armor, some pistols, and you cannot lose focus for a second, because you know the Red Reserve will punish it. And Heroic, you have to fight so hard to stay 100% focused in these situations, because it's easy to get a little bit, you know, a little bit less focused in this, a little bit more, you know, oh, screw it, I'll just go for a push. Oh, they're only on pistols. You cannot afford to do that. You can't afford to be rebuying needless guns. So again, Heroic need to have that steel-like focused in this.
Can never get complacent on a comeback. And while Heroic may not have asserted themselves through a dominating score on Overpass, they could still impress us with their resilience. However, they should be tested in this round. There's still the double flashbang on the belt of Rusty. Bomb on his back. And teammates by his side as everybody for Red Reserve start to group up through the washrooms. Of course, Yugi's on the op. We've seen him just kind of scuttle offenses as they attempt to push in. There's one flash, there's the next. That's somewhat damage dealt, but Nico towards Optimus Prime. Modi finds one, Nico takes the next two though. Relaxa with a single frag, Hampus with a double. And now it's down to Relaxa with two targets to deal with, one of which in front, and instead he goes down. So Heroic continue on this comeback, 1 point the difference.
It's a knife's edge game though. Both sides giving everything they've got here. Red Reserve yet to really break into their T side, however it feels. A little slower to build into this, and Heroic digging their feet into the ground and just holding on as best they can. And what a change up from Modi here. Starting to really get into this game. It was a bit quiet early on, no one really putting up a big performance, but he has been able to start matching what Hampus maybe was starting to do, but still a way to go. Still no victory yet. 4 players waiting by B as well. This could be the jump off towards B. This could be a full hit coming out. And they have the default play. This is nice. There's no information to be found by Heroic if they push through this. But Snappy has a shot whiz by. Not liking that. Might call for a bit of support here. But we might just see Hampus now starting to wind it up a bit as well. But with him going down, this might just assure the rest of the B players that this is the hit coming in. It's down to Snappy. It's down to S-Tag. Here comes the hit. There's the flash to set it up, and it's not good enough, but they break it anyway.
Yes, they do clear it out, and still Modi, he's able to hold at least for a little longer. He sprays for the headshot. What? Freddy, with another frag to the 2v2 we go. Michael extending this lead, leaving only Yugi up. And he has the op from the heavens above. Full set of grenades, and a kit as well. No head armor versus the M4. Freddy towards his flank, and there you have it. Michael hits the shot. Red Reserve on the board.
They finally fight back into this. It took so long for them to find a way in, But I was surprised that worked out. The flash wasn't actually that good towards Monster. It didn't actually get the 2 players, but still Rusty and Freddy made it stick. And Modi landed this, but the reply was just as surprising. That came in so quickly. Now, the problem is that the money's never built up for Heroic. They never had that big bank to fall back on. So this could be, well, it should be 14-11.
Which will put Red Reserve on the cusp of victory lane, at least here on Overpass. Again, bit of an upset versus Heroic, who seemed heavily favored in this one, but certainly not in this round. Again, just the pistols, and very light at that. 5.7 CZ P250. No grenades. And I love that Red Reserve are not getting over-aggressive. Can't help but feel like they know right now that Heroic are bleeding out. But Heroic have also forced themselves into connector. They've forced themselves into short. They've put themselves within that range of lethality with pistols. All it takes is a couple headshots, 1 AK in their hands, and suddenly things go south.
Games are often won and lost on this sort of round. Heroic win it, things turn around. Red Reserve continue forward, they're on 14, they're 1 step away. The bomb's already starting to head back towards B. And I think that sadly for Heroic, even though this is a nice idea for them, they're not quite reading the play as they'd like to. The first couple of flashes might make some of those players turn around from Heroic, but again, what else are you expecting to achieve here? You're against a decent buy. You're only with a CZ, P250, a 5.7 and 2 USPs. You're not exactly in the best stead. As bomb still yet to be planted with Freddy here. Does eventually going down to the last 10 seconds, remind yourself. That was a very patient round from Red Reserve.
Very calculated. The correct answer. And that's in that bomb plant. And honestly, a retake with these sorts of pistols, what are you going to do? Should be absolutely nothing. If Lady Luck is on your side, maybe you find a frag. Maybe someone with their back turned. Speaking of which, Relaxa. Desperation starts to set in. Yugi's jumping into the bomb site, so they're just desperately looking for something, and Nico will find Relaxa. So that's at least an AK in his hands, going to facilitate the buy in the next.
How much of a buy can they truly get going here, though? This is where it gets very, very scary. As Heroic going to try and get things going. It's decent enough. Again, I'd love to see an AWP with Yugi, but he just, obviously the money's not been there. These rounds have been so close, even though it is 14-11 now. And this is a switch up of pace. A quick hit, it looks like B is going to be under severe scrutiny. Modi blinded, burning, can't get away. Relaxa is there. And now S-Tag next in line. Snappy tries to stay cool, but Red Reserve are in. And Snappy waits. When does he pounce? When does he show? Oh, he fluffed the first shot, and that plays in Hampus. This is showing to be 15. No, S-Tag! Turn reply. Nico comes in, and it's all down to Hampus now. 1v3.
We've seen so much from him. Can he do this? He is in the open, and now he's down. It is Heroic with another round on the board and another chance to keep this comeback rolling. Red Reserve, great entry. Explosive on that site, but EC Tag comes in a very big way.
Incredibly surprising. Well, the man's been a little quieter than we've seen others be in his team, but what a moment to step up your performance. And here we see it again, finding room in that smoke. It gives you flashbacks to that Dupree Deagle when he just walks out and finds him. But the M4 does just fine there. And again, Red Reserve still with good money, going to go right back on the purchase. But what a bold move to try just go for that B hit like that. Just rush in. It worked before, why not do it again? In Heroic's mind, you'll be thinking to yourself, surely they don't do it twice. That's not how this game works, but they do. They're bold, they're daring. Red Reserve, not quite living up to their reserved name. It's anything but. And Heroic now, how do you approach this round?
Apparently with a little bit more of short control, or at least the informational peak. Snappy, taking a bit of a gander, finding nothing in return, but Modi's gonna get damaged down. Where was that? Modi's back towards B bomb site. Was that Hampus again with a wallbang? This time through short. What?
This is the type of games where you ask him like, yo, upload your demo.
Yeah. To me, it's very reminiscent of, say, like a Zipnex, because he knows all the angles when it comes to wall banging on B-bomb site. The one through the short door, all sorts of variations on it, and clearly Hampus giving him a run for his money. Giving Heroic a run for their money.
Nico, this could be brilliant. No, he gets caught. Rusty, what is that second shot? Yugi gets destroyed, and Modi now, he commits. He has to try and make something happen, but gets overwhelmed. It's a 2v4. You shouldn't lose these, especially when Estag and Snappy are both playing towards B. I don't know how much of a shot in this they're going to have. No,
they're going for the save right away. So Red Reserve, again, just one thing that this team does incredibly well, right? Question the complexity of their strats, question the depth of their playbook, that's one thing. But when they group themselves up as a unit, when they push together and play their trade frags, they do very, very well at just overwhelming defense. I mean, we saw it down towards the B site. Sure enough, EC Tag can come in amidst that take and turn it on its head, but Red Reserve always at least finding some kind of a footing, some kind of a success to play off of. And this time around, it is a hard reset versus Heroic, so they are crucially going to have to hang on to these double weapons. It's really not much, though. A slim silver lining at the end of the 27th round. Red Reserve have done it. Secured OT at the very least. 3 map points on the line.
And the money's so depleted on the other side. They can try and forge together a buy, but Rusty, this follow-up shot was so good from him. And Modi was forced to commit off the back of that B. You can see like 2.8k was sat on Modi, so he's got an M4 dropped out, or maybe just able to get something going. But UMP's no utility with Yugi, but he finally gets an AWP, but it feels like a lifetime in the making for him to even get that to hand. And now here comes the play. Yugi taking active fights here, looking for this one. So much damage just came with that nade, so he's got to back away a little bit here, but it does mean that the 2 players in underpass now needs to be a bit cautious. They don't have that full control, hence why they're trying to play into this. But it immediately might play into the hands of Relaxa.
There's, of course, 2 to the 1 here, so Relaxa has to be extra cautious not to be traded out. Decides to start spamming. Red Reserve will assume control of party until Yugi catches 1 frag off of the AWP despite his lowered health. That's a man advantage here in the hands of Heroic, but Red Reserve still passively towards their spawn. They're starting to creep over towards this B site, but it's short control in the hands of Heroic.
I don't know if they've run into this yet, but they haven't been generally hitting through short. They generally go stack through monster. Now, with Relaxa coming through the angle he is, that actually might clean out the stack towards short. So we'll see the timing on this. It could still work either way. Relaxa going to give away a bit of his position by putting that smoke down, but again, they hold their nerve. There it is. S-Tag does well to find Relaxa, but now attention has to turn towards B, where they don't have any control. There's 3 players already coming up here, but Modi is on the case.
Yeah, he jumps over the wood, catches 1. That's Hampus. Mike Yuleli, Freddy Frog, all that will remain. Nico takes the first, and it's just the Frog left standing, not for long. EC Tag with another frag, and Heroic with another round.
15 to 13. Again, can't get complacent on either side. Red Reserve know that Heroic would love OT. Their money's been so poor throughout the CT side. If they get to OT, you could see so much more for them. And obviously for Red Reserve, you don't want to let this one slip. You had such a close game before on Train. Heartbreak would be the answer to how they'd feel after this. But here we go, back into it. 2 more shots is all they get. Snappy again. Relentless at trying to get control here.
Of course, his position was never revealed in that last round, seeing as the player on short kept the man indoor. So Snappy will be content to play this yet again. Looks to me like a bit of a B split. Red Reserve might go check out party, make sure that there's nobody quick on the flank, and then just try to puncture their way into short control. EC Tag's attention could be pulled away if the players get through monster.
Here it comes. 3 players through that underpass. The crossfire is great again. The 3 of them deny it now that the rest of the hit needs to come through. But Snappy is doing it all. 4 kills for his side, and they're right on the verge. This could be OT, or it's Red Reserve taking it to 3 Maps! Their final go at this one in regular time. And they need it. They know it. You get to OT, you start seeing maybe that little bit of a disbelief starts to come into place. Lacking maybe a bit of confidence at the end. But they didn't have much of a buy here. Now they've got it all. This is the round. This is where we see if Red Reserve can close it down and take it to 3. Or will it be Heroic still with fight left in them?
Early aggression over towards Fountain. Freddy Frog to lead the charge. Bomb behind. Just a nice little split here to try and keep Heroic honest, but again, no short control, so Heroic will exploit this. Now, one of the reasons it works out in the last round is because they had never spotted it prior, but with that big multi-frag on their minds, they should be very wary. Meanwhile, Red Reserve just continue to walk out towards party side, so A-site control being slowly given up, but not long, that's for sure.
So much utility left on the CTs and bare minimum left on Red Reserve to make this play happen. Gets a little trickier, but Rusty, Hampus clearing through toilets. It's Nico though on long. As soon as Yugi sees this, you might see him played in off the back. Maybe a flash to follow, but as soon as he sees it, he'll know what's coming his way. Right, smoke goes in, he can no longer worry about this. He's got to worry about toilets. Nico, a little confused, a little dazed. He thought he was up on the flower bed maybe. And now Yugi put to task. Players now pouring in through the toilets. He knows there's trouble afoot. Can he back away? Can he depend on Modi to keep him safe? He does great work, Modi, but it's down to just 3 now for Heroic.
Yugi still amongst the smoke. Relaxa takes one down. It is just going to be Snappy. We saw a big multi-frag in the last round, but he's going to need this clutch if he wants to force OT. The bomb will be planted. Hampus to the other side of the dice box. There's the next one. Relaxa's down. Snappy has to reload. He gets the mag in, but they're round for reserve, and map 3 is on the table. We will go the distance.
This is one of those games that just does not seem to know when it's over. Red Reserve fighting with everything they have in this. Down to the final round of regular time between these two. Heroic put up a great performance, but what a return coming in from the guys on your screen who most teams and most people at this tournament or anyone watching wouldn't have been expected to get to this point. But 16-14 will be the final score of the second map. As said, it means we are going all the way here. Mirage going to be coming up next, and this evens the score. This puts this game back in anyone's court. After the first map going the way it did, you thought, it's got to be going Heroic's way. Overpass, there's no two ways to look at it. But we're here. We're going to a third one. I don't know what to say. We're going to take a short break. When we're back, we'll be finding out who can walk away with this, because I don't think we know either.